What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Well, our guy is here. Gleison Bremer is a Juventus player, but that doesn't mean things are done when it comes to the Juventus Mercato. A lot of moves have to be made in and out. We'll cover them all today. Stick with us. We'll fill you in. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sofro, and today it is a beautiful Thursday, July 21st, 2022. And of course, I've got your latest rundown of all things Juventus, all the news you care about each and every day. This is the rundown. Before we do anything though, make sure you go ahead and do me a favor. Just do me a solid if you could, real quick. Take that little finger. If you're on your phone, if you got a mouse in front of you, if you got whatever it is, scroll up. Hit that like button. Smash that like button right now for us. Do it for Gleison Bremer. For him coming to Juve, being a Juventus player, and really stacking up what was a really depleted defense there. Now we are good to go. Also, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. I'm going to remind you guys one more time. I'm going to say it one more time, but we're going to do it all the time. But just quickly, the giveaway on the channel, we're doing a giveaway. We're trying to give back to the Juventus supporters, fans that are on the channel each and every day. We're doing a giveaway of a Paul Pogba shirt after he joined Juventus. You can win the shirt. Easy steps to do it. Make sure, one, you're subscribed to the channel. If you're here watching this video already right now, you should do it, or you should be doing it right now. You should be subscribing to this channel. Make sure you're going on Twitter, following Bianconeri Zone, and then tagging a friend and retweeting in the tweet about the Paul Pogba giveaway. It'll be pinned there at the top of the screen anyway. It should be really easy to find. All right. And then I'll mention real quick, too, if you want to increase your opportunity to do it, as well as joining a really cool community, consider joining the member squad here that we have at the Bianconeri Zone. It's a lot of fun. Ask anybody you see that have the little icons in their names. It's a blast. We have fun in the Discord, and then you'll get to hop on with us and have some fun during the shows that we do here. All right. Let's jump into it. Let's get in the first big news of the day. Of course, we're going to talk about Bremer, him coming to Juventus FC, Romeo Grestia opening it up, basically just confirming the purchase of Gleison Bremer. Juventus are paying Torino 41 million euros guaranteed, plus a max of 8 million euros bonuses for Bremer. And then Romeo Grestia confirmed that Bremer will wear the number 3 shirt. So he will be taking up the mantle that was vacated by Giorgio Chiellini. To me, one of the holy trinity of Juventus. And I'll be honest, I'm weird when it comes to numbers. Again, today we have a lot of news, so I'm not going to go too long on this. But what I will say is I'm weird when it comes to numbers, and I understand when it comes to soccer, when it comes to football, calcio, whatever you want to call it. It's different, obviously, than it is for some other sports. In other sports where numbers aren't usually position-based, like you don't see a center who's the number 5 in basketball wear the number 5 all the time. They wear all kinds of numbers, so it doesn't really matter. It's not associated. So I understand him taking the 3. But it is always hard when you see Giorgio Chiellini, somebody else, wear his number, his shirt, after such a long, glorious span at Juventus. Del Piero is still one that bothers me whenever I see somebody else wear the number 10. Paul Pogba seems deserving enough, though. What I will say is Gleison Bremer, from what I've seen from him, he is a he is a physical specimen. So hopefully he will live up to the title for Giorgio Chiellini. All right, let's continue on, though, and move on to some of the comments that he made after signing with Juventus and becoming an official Juve player. He says, Juventus is a winning team. I have also had the ambition to win. I talked a bit with Chiellini and decided that Juventus was the best team for me. Biggest dream? Well, as I said, I always want to win. The Scudetto, the Champions League, I always want to win. That is my goal. He continues, and he also says that Chiellini is the best Italian defender. I've always said that, so I take some inspiration from him and try to do what he did there. Real quick, in my interjection, I got to do it. I love that you give him his props. Let's be clear, you don't need to put Italian in there. You can just put he's the best defender. To me, he is one of the best center backs that I've ever seen play. That's me personal. I know other people can battle me on it, but to me, and I know I'm biased, but to me, he is one of the best center backs I've ever seen play the game. He also goes on to say, when I saw that Pogba and Di Maria arrived, I have no doubts about who to choose. We are a team built to win. And I think that's very important for Allegri moving into the season. Win here, win now. Let's do it. All right. Let's continue on, and now we've got to talk about, or we have to give some comments from the guy whose shoes he is filling for Juventus, and I'm not talking about Giorgio Chiellini, I'm talking about De Ligt, who just left Juventus. He had some comments with Sport Bild there. This is hopefully the last we'll really mention or really have to talk about De Ligt anymore. He moved on. It's not a sentimental thing, or it's not a I'm upset thing. It's just a we don't need to do this out. We don't need to keep reopening the wound, right? We can just move on. Best of luck for him. All right. He says that football was central to my choice. Juventus' style is more defense oriented. Bayern, sorry, and I don't care. I don't care. I know I'm always gonna say it wrong. Bayern's offensive style, on the other hand, fits my characteristics better, and was one of the reasons I chose to come here. Here we play a style that thinks forward. We do high pressing, a style that suits my characteristics well. Nagelsmann shown that he is a coach who knows how to develop young players, and I see myself as a young man who wants to improve. In short summation, Allegri. Allegri was the reason he left. He did not fit Allegri's system. He did not fit his style. Allegri did not fit his style. He didn't think it was best for his career. There you go. Allegri doesn't care about scoring. He's fine winning 1-0. That was it. All right, let's talk about the other option, and I think we're probably done when it comes to center backs when at Juventus. I don't think I foresee not at Juventus, but you know what I mean. For this Mercato, I don't think we're going to see any more. Maybe some pieces could fall into place, but the next news story that we have here is Tuttosport, who is talking, saying that in case of doubts around Gatti after the tour, then Juve are ready to move for Milinkovic. So just keep an eye on things. Maybe keep your eye especially focused in on how Freddie Katz works in while he's in America, while he's playing in Dallas and Las Vegas and LA and all that. Keep an eye on how he's performing and how he does, if he really steps up and if he really fits the system pretty well. Otherwise, Juve could make a move for Milinkovic, but really just in a reserve role. Also, right now, we do know that Inter are probably going to go after him too. So that one, you don't have to get that one. Like you don't. He's fine, but you don't have to go after him. All right, let's get two out of the way because we're really going to get into the pieces of the Mercato of how this is moving right now. But I feel like it's pretty obvious right now as a Juventus fan that Juve need to sell. It's time to sell. Now it's time to move some pieces. I still think there's a couple more pieces. You know, my boy. You know, we're going to talk about my boy. But there are some other pieces that really you need to move out first before you end up getting anybody else and really bringing anything in. First up, and these pieces are not that important, but we're going to talk about them anyway. First up, Marco Piazza. Nico Scaler reported saying that Marco Piazza has renewed his contract till 2024 with Juventus to avoid capital losses. He will go to Sampdoria on a 2-year loan with an obligation to buy for a symbolic sum, probably less than 300,000 euros. So, less than you're buying a house for. All right, let's continue on. Romeo Gnesti also has a comment just saying that Piazza deal actually has encountered a hitch. The player is taking his time over it and no longer seems keen on joining Sampdoria. So, there's your Marco Piazza talk for today. I don't know. I don't got a lot for you. He and Dragusin, just think they can pick and choose whatever. It is what it is. And then otherwise, we do have a little bit of an interesting one that is moving out, is Romeo Gnesti reported, saying that Ranocchia renews with Juventus until 2025, but also that Ranocchia to Monza on loan with an option to buy. The two clubs now are working on the buyback option fee. So this was floated out there a little bit earlier, where I was a little bit, I'll be honest, a little bit surprised, just because to me it was a little bit more, I don't know, he's a youth player who last summer was thought fairly highly of, but you're kind of weighted. You're deep in the waters. Like, you have to go pretty deep to find him. Otherwise, you got Rovella, you got Fagioli, you got Manetti all in front of him. We need to figure out their all situations before we even get to Ranocchia. And Ranocchia, I still don't know that he has the level to really play for Juventus. But that's why you throw that buyback clause in case he develops. And for being honest, Monza's doing some very interesting things in this Mercato. As they moved up to Serie A, they have some really neat players coming in. It could be a really fun team to watch for this coming season, so keep an eye out for them. All right, now let's actually talk about the players that are really, I won't say for sure because it's going to bite me. It's going to bite me if I don't, or if I say it. But players that we're hoping can get moved out for Juventus. First up, let's talk about Artur and his situation. Tuttosport reporting saying that Artur and Ramsey will not leave for the USA, while for Rabiot, no official offers have arrived yet. Once the Bianconeri have sorted out a few exits, then there will be rooms for new players, with Paredes and Zaniolo seen as the main candidates there. All right, let's also go to the second part of this, which is talking about actually a really like, take this with a massive grain of salt. Take this with a salt piece about this big right there on the side of your shoulder, if you will. I think I combined my metaphors. You know what I was saying. You know what I was saying. Anyway, Rudy Galletti, TV Del Sport, is reporting that Arsenal are set to make an official bid for Juventus, or to Juventus for Artur. Despite the interest for Tielemans, AFC could try to sign the Brazilian midfielder who was out of the Bianconeri's plans. This is probably being a little bit more hopeful and wistful, and this is wishful thinking in this situation, but keep an eye on it. Arsenal's been floated out there for a long, long time. If they come out there, try to get Artur, that could resolve one situation. This would be something interesting, because I don't know any kind of counterparts, really. Juve probably wouldn't really want to be accepting any kind of counterparts that they have. We'll see. The only one that really would stick out to me that really was an idea before was that of, obviously, Gabriel Mangalaj. And that would be an interesting one, because then you could bolster the defense a little bit more. And I know I said we're probably done with the center back position, but that would be the only opportunity that I could see really opening up, besides Milinkovic, who's real cheap. Let's move on. And let's also talk about now some options out here. First up, I think I skipped him, but let's go ahead and put this out here. When it comes to Rabiot, this is one that I'm going to say don't get your hopes up. Just don't get your hopes up, okay? Romeo Gresti, Giovanni Albanese coming out with the same points out there. Basically just putting the brakes on it before anybody starts to buy into it. But basically, they both said the same thing. I'll read them both. But for personal reasons, Rabiot will not leave with Juve for the States. Double clarification, the player's not on the market, and he's not injured. That was Agresti's. Giovanni Albanese said Rabiot will not take part in the Juventus tour. It is not on the market. It is not a disciplinary measure by the club or the coach. The reason is strictly personal. So that's it. Personal reasons, he's not coming to America. The French are once again scared to come to America. No, I'm kidding. But at the same time, something, of course, if they didn't put that in there, I would be the first one on here that would be saying, oh, keep a look out there. That might be a move. We know Manchester United, we know Chelsea, we know PSG have all been rumored there. But alas, it looks like that's not the case. But we'll see if anybody comes back to the table. All right, let's get into some of the buys, though. The other buys that Juve could go after. Here's the one that I have to do. It's just like it's an obligation at this point, right? Paredes, he's still out there. Nico Skinner reports saying Juventus are still interested in Leandro Paredes, who could leave PSG in the summer transfer window. Juve have opened the first talks with the agent of the midfielder. But again, that midfield is very, very crowded right now. You're going to have to make a lot of sales before he even really becomes an opportunity. All right, let's talk about my boy, Zaniolo. I'm a Zaniolo, so we got to talk about it. Messaggero are reporting saying that no one has come forward with 50 million euros offered expected by Roma, and so Zaniolo can stay at least another year. He, too, has become convinced of the idea of joining Mourinho's project. And then the second part of it, Alfredo Padula reporting saying that both Juve and Roma are taking time on the Zaniolo deal. It's in standby for now. If you watched the video yesterday, Alejandro kind of went into this a little bit more detail, so I'm not going to waste too much time with this. Obviously, I know that there's definitely some issues there when it's coming to the move for Zaniolo. It's a little bit odd because things seem so ramped up, and it seemed like any day now we could have seen a here we go. But also, if you've been reading the news day by day, Juve also seem to feel like they have the upper hand in this situation. And maybe I'm reading this differently than other people because I'm a Zaniolo, because I want to see my boy, and I'm not saying a boy in the way that I don't like it, my boy, like you said, my boy. Anyway, yeah, I'm washed, I know. This is a situation where the way I'm reading it is a little bit more where I feel like Juve can hold out a little bit. Hold out and see what happens. I don't think Zaniolo really wants to renew with Roma. I don't know, maybe there's an idea that Mourinho could utilize him, but it still doesn't seem like that's really the plan, especially when you bring in Paulo Dybala. I don't think those two will coincide. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. But I think right now, this is something that you can just hold out to the end of the Mercato, or, kind of not exactly like Federico Chiesa, where it was like a surprise at the end. But also, if there's one thing we do know about Juventus, they have been kind of moving, kind of pushing for the re-Italian, revitalizing an Italian core at Juve. You've done it each of the Mercatos, except, obviously the winter one, it's a winner. But like last year, you got We got Chiesa 2 years ago. Last year, you got Locatelli. This year, I could see it be Zaniolo. I still think, let's see what happens in the end. But I understand the pessimism there, right? So we'll see what happens. We'll just keep you updated every step of the way. It ain't dead yet, guys. All right, let's talk about another guy, though, who refuses to die. His career at Juventus is Alvaro Morata. Nico Schia's reporting saying Juventus are still interested in Alvaro Morata. His contract with Atletico Madrid currently expires in 2024. Juve offered a loan with option to buy. Talks in progress. I've seen the idea thrown out there that it could be a battling of the two between Alvaro Morata and Zaniolo. And this is where Ale and I agree. Obviously, I actually like Alvaro Morata quite a bit. He's a player that I really do like. But if I'm picking between the two players, Alvaro Morata, Zaniolo. Zaniolo's much younger. He hasn't had the opportunity yet. Alvaro Morata has had his opportunity, had his time. We don't need to keep doing this and going back to the same well. I think at this point, try something new. You got some great pieces already. Zaniolo can definitely work for the future. And if he doesn't, that's fine. Maybe you're doing it alone, and then you do a loan. And that's where I was trying to get to. Sorry. When it comes to the deal that's looked at and being done about Zaniolo right now, with the deal that way Gleason Bremer's deal was worked out, where it's not all paid up here, they're paying it in installments over 3 years. I think it's 3 years. And you got 2 other free deals. Juve's not spending a lot of money right now. So if they wanted to, they could work out a deal for Zaniolo. And it seems Roma would be open to the option of, 10 million now and then, paying the rest of it later in installments. Juve's damn good at doing that. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, but like I said, between the two, I'd pick Zaniolo over Morata. And then we close it out with some very interesting pieces from Weston McKennie, who was speaking with Goal Italia. Some comments of his workout regime is getting back to getting healthy, and some stuff that I don't want to say that irks people, but we'll see. Here's some things that he said. Weston McKennie with Goal Italia says, being able to play with Pogba is a great opportunity. I mean, I don't have comments for that. I used the break to relax and let my head clear a bit. And I can see Juve Twitter already firing up. All the awful takes, the trashy takes. I get it. Oh, why didn't he work his ass off the entire day? Shut up. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, my goal was to come back here. He was getting healthy, all right? And eating cheeseburgers. That's what he's doing. My goal was to come back here and be fit. I trained a lot, and most people didn't recognize me. That's a good sign. So there you go. He's losing a little bit of that gut. A little bit of that substantial gut. He's all right. And we know about substantial guts here. In Italy, preseason is crazy. We train twice a day, arrive at 8:30 in the morning, and leave at 8:30 at night. It's one of those things where at the end you're like, oh God. I'm sure a lot of people will have comments on that one. Yeah, you'll bust your bleep. You're making millions of dollars, go bust your bleep. All right. He goes on to say, Allegri's words were very important for me, for an athlete. But then I also, and I know I cut out right in between it, I also know there are plenty of people, they do it here too, when it comes to overworking. Like, is that why Juve players are so injury prone? Is it because they're overworking? Because they're, 12-hour days, and those aren't full 12-hour days. We see you in the locker room with your RC car, messing around. Like, this is not, I'm sorry, this is not, when I say, I can't say for sure, because I obviously don't play for Juventus, but at the same time, I imagine this isn't like, I don't want to say 2 a days, but it's not your grueling workouts. Like, you're playing, all right? Anyway, goes on to say, Allegri's words were very important for me. For an athlete, it means a lot to be in a place where you feel wanted, where they need you. So it's always good to have, support of your coach, and definitely that buy-in. It gives you a different feeling when you're out there on the pitch, I'm sure. I've heard all kinds of things about my hypothetical transfer, to the point that it's hard to ignore certain rumors completely. My agent and I are close contact. However, I would be the first to know if something is true or not, which you'd think so. You would, because you'd have to be moved to get to agree to it. But you'd be surprised. All right, more comments. Expectations are the same every season. Juve is a team that always called upon to win everything. Most people cannot deny that Juve is the top club in Italy, so we should win Serie A, Copa, UCL, or at least play in the UCL final. A draw for us is like a defeat. Our standards are very high. I mean, yeah, as an American, Ricky Bobby, right? You ain't first, you're last. If you don't win, you're a loser. A draw for us is like a defeat. Our standards are very high. We don't like losing. We're working to get back to our level. I think the incoming market is very good, and next season will be very positive for us. It should be. With the players you've got coming in there, though, it's not all fixed. But at the same time, Bremer, you got to feel damn good about where we're sitting right now compared to where we looked at, 48, 50 hours ago. Continues on, he says, for me, it's an opportunity to be able to play with someone of Pogba's qualities. I'm certainly looking forward to it. He has energy and a lot of personality. I feel like I'm playing well, like I'm doing well. I'm very self-critical. I know when I'm playing a bad game that people who are close to me know that. Of course, I accept criticism and try to take inspiration to improve. He's talking to you, Twitter. That second half, he's talking to you guys on Twitter. The first half, though, I think there is a bit of importance to really take from that of just what Pogba really brings to the club. What guys like Weston McKennie bring to the club. The personality, the fun-loving, that kind of attitude. You want to have your guy who's a hard ass. You want to have the guy who's going to get in your face and scream and yell and be like, this is what you need to do, fire you up, right? But at the same time, you need the fun guys. You need the guys who bring that loving atmosphere to the locker room. It's a different day and age. Like, it's different than when I played, or when I played sports as a kid and all that. It's very different now. Now it's a love 'em up mentality, for better or worse, and that's how it's right now. Let's go to the last part of it in his last comments, where we don't have to pay a lot of attention to social media, a place where different things are said every day. He's still talking to you, Twitter. We know what our goals are and how we have to work to achieve them. So there you go. We don't have to pay a lot of attention, but they're paying a lot of attention to Twitter, and they hear your asinine comments. Anyway, that'll do it for this edition of the news. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think about the idea of trying to sell some of these players? Do you think this is going to be a feasible market for Juventus to do that? And then what do you think, of course, with the final pieces of the Mercato? We have 3 players. Is it going to come to 5? Is 5 the number? We kind of said that throwing out there about 5 players. Who are those last 1 or 2 players that Juve could get? Do you think Zaniolo, the deal will get done? Or do you think that one's kind of dead until next season? Let me know in the comment sections down below. If you haven't already, like I said, smash that like button. Make sure you're definitely entered in and subscribe to the channel so that way you can win the Paul Pogba shirt. We love giving it away. Make sure you're doing it, because right now I don't know that I have the biggest number, especially for the amount of subscribers we have on here and the views we get on the channel. Also, and then the final piece of this, make sure you hit that bell icon and stay notified for all our latest videos. You can follow me at Justin Sovro on Twitter. You can follow Bianconeri Zone at Bianconeri Zone, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.